started working with shells before I got married in 1998. I got married in August, so it was about a year before that. I started collecting, looking all over, up and down California for the Alderete shells, because I knew that's what our people used. That was abalone and Alderete shells were the main two shells that we used. So that's when I started. I collected for a whole year until, well, about 8 months, until I finally found the place where I collect today. That's the only place there's 2 places that I collect, but it took me a long time to find that spot. And ever since then, I've been working with the shells, making regalia, necklaces, and stuff like that.
Well, I started collecting shells probably back in the 1970s, when I was a teenager, around the American Indian movement, when I started to think about our culture more. So I began making jewelry back then, but began making more traditional jewelry in the later, probably 80s, 90s. And so been, just going out, gathering shells to make, work with making regalia. The shells that we gather, they also have another meaning. Not only are they beautiful and ornamental, they're medicine. So, with the reflection, they're powerful medicine. They reflect bad away from you. Same as probably the people of India with mirrors, how they would sew those onto their skirts. The women, there's a reason for why they would use those mirrored or reflective ornaments on their skirts. It's the same for the First Peoples. So that's one reason. But I love collecting the shells. I love gifting them. We use them during ceremony. So we do a lot of ceremony. We use them for the 4 directions with a sage bundle with the bigger shells. And so they're just a part of everyday life with the First People, with us. Whether you go out for a morning prayer, if you get up, go do your morning prayer, light some sage. You can see this shell here has been burned in quite a bit. So this here is, they're just constantly in use.
My connection to the shells goes back to my grandmother. My grandmother always had a small piece of abalone in her hands, and she would rub it all the time. And I never really paid attention when I was little, but she would rub this abalone. It wasn't until she passed away that I was going through her purse, my sisters and I were going through her purse, and I found the shell. And I drilled a hole in it, and I put it in the center of my very first regalia that I made when I got married. And ever since then, I just fell in love with the abalone and with the shells, and so it keeps me connected, keeps me grounded. I love it. Everybody else loves it. All the people in our tribe, the kids. That gives me joy to see them just going through all the shells and looking for them and stringing them, and it's very precious to me. I mean, it's worth more than money to me. If I'm missing something, I just panic. I have to find it. I misplace things, and I don't rest until I find my shells. That's the most important thing to me, besides my children, but the shells keep me so connected all the time. I always have shells. I can't even walk on the beach anymore and lay there and relax. I have to be walking and collecting, and all the time. I just don't rest anymore on the beach. I'm just praying and or singing and picking everything up, and I bring it home, and then something will come to me, an idea will come to me about what to make, just like the seaweed pods. Same thing too. I brought them home, didn't know what I was going to do with them until I thought make a rattle out of it, and so that's how my life has been since 1998, with the shells and collecting and that.
So my connection personally with the shells and with the Alabella shells is that they're connected to our people. The Chumash people use the Alabella as trade beads or trade shells. So they would gather these, and they were very valuable, and they would trade with other peoples. So with other peoples from other areas. So as with bartering. So these were very favorable shell to many different people. I talked to people up in Yosemite, and even there they love the shells. They use them on their regalias there. So you see the shell around quite a bit. I've seen that the shells have been traded even inland over towards the San Miguel area. So people came and traded for whatever reason, whether it was to trade for pine nuts or chert or just different things. So that was a like I said, very valuable trade commodity. We still trade these beads. We don't sell them. You need to actually need a permit to pick up the shells due to the colonization of the system of in this time. So we get the permits from state parks, and so part of that is you can't sell the shells. In my position here as a politician on the Monterey Bay, I'm fighting back that there right now, that they try and regulate the collection of shells to the indigenous people, so to the first people. So that's something I don't feel that should be taken away. We use these shells for regalias. We use the shells for, when we pay respects to our ancestors or elders who have passed on. We may go to the cemetery and lay down some shells in respect or remembrance of our ancestors. So that's something I'm going to be working on, the protection of these shells for our religious beliefs, and for how we practice the protocols that we practice as when we pray and during ceremonies.
Trading is something we do every year, certain times of the year, depending on what we're collecting, what we've collected throughout the year. We travel around, we trade mainly the Alabella shells, because people love these shells, but they can't get them in their area. So I trade these. I first started trading one Alabella for one pine nut, and that's how we got started, just trading for pine nuts. And then later we were able to trade for abalone chips and dentalium and clamshell, just everything that we use that comes from the land or from the ocean. We trade. We have quite a few people that we trade with now. We go visit up in Mendocino and Ukiah and Trinidad, down south to Santa Ynez. We always carry the shells with us because they have a lot of pine nuts and we don't have those here. So it really works out. People love it. They love trading, and it just, that's just the way we do it. We try not to buy. We collect and trade and barter, and if we can't, then we'll buy some stuff.